If you've ever enrolled in even one college class, one of the very first things that you're going to notice is the astronomical cost of textbooks. Many a parent or student has had sticker shock over the $400, $500, $600 cost of a textbook that they need to purchase for just one class. In today's era of technology, why are we still bound to the old traditional textbooks that are not only expensive but also cumbersome? In this speech, I'll be talking to you about and advocating for digital textbooks. If you ever find yourself in the presence of a group of college students, take a minute and talk about textbooks. You're going to see a collective groan of exasperation and a group-wide rolling of the eyes when they discuss how much textbooks cost. According to the Student Public Interest Research Group, the price of textbooks has increased at a rate of nearly 4 times that of inflation since 1990. Between 1986 and 2004, the cost of the average textbook has tripled. According to the FCC, which is the Federal Communications Commission, ebooks can save school districts a substantial amount of money. The cost of an e-textbook is 50 to 60% less than a traditional printed book, and also e-textbooks can save districts between $250 to $1,000 per year per student. Some people have argued that the startup costs would be prohibitive, wiring all the schools for Wi-Fi, for example. And while that might have been true in 2002, when only 51% of the schools, K-12 schools in the public districts were wired for internet, in 2012, 98% of all public school classrooms are wired for the internet. Not to mention, nearly all public libraries have public computers, and they are all also have internet accessibility. The cost of a tablet versus a book. Some people say that tablets are too expensive. Well, that may have been true several years ago, but in 2012, the average retail cost of a tablet was about $150. The average retail cost of a textbook is around $65. Now that sounds like a big difference until you multiply that $65 by the 5 classes the traditional high school student takes. You do the math. Also, regions would be able to negotiate with manufacturers and get a better per piece price based on volume. So the cost of those tablets would be much less than the $150 retail cost. One of the biggest advantages of tablets is that tablets have features that textbooks don't have. A student is able to highlight material. A student is able to write notes on a material without ruining that textbook for the next person who's going to use it. It also helps teachers in that they don't need that space in their classrooms to store textbooks or classroom materials. In an age of information and with the wealth of knowledge that's out there on the internet, both true and false, we really do need a more reliable, safer, and accurate, not to mention less cumbersome means of relaying information between teacher and student. E-textbooks and e-networks have allowed teachers to really customize material. The school district, the school districts are able to restrict the content that students are able to access on iPads. For example, at University Christian High School, when they transitioned to all iPads, they had a system where the students were not able to download inappropriate content. They also restricted the websites that the students were able to visit. And the reason they did that was because there's so many websites out there that do not have accurate information and can't be used for citing as sources. And they didn't want the students to have access to that so that the research they were doing would be accurate and would be fair. E-textbooks also allow teachers to have greater flexibility when it comes to students with disabilities. The blind students would be able to hear the text being read to them, and dyslexic students would be able to have graphs or pictures and also have the words pronounced for them as they go along. Did you also know that according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, an estimated 23,000 emergency room visits are every year by children between the ages of 6 and 18. And the reason for that is because the average backpack weighs between 15 and 20 pounds. The average tablet weighs between 3/4 of a pound and 2 pounds. Those sprains, contusions, and fractures that are occurring have to do with that weight difference. One of the arguments that I've come across when I was researching this topic was, why would we want to make this switch? We've been using textbooks for generations. They've worked well for our students and they've served them well. Well, e-tablets and e-books have been shown to improve standardized testing. The publisher, Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, tested an interactive digital version of the Algebra 1 course. And what they found was that the students who took the digital course versus traditional textbooks scored an average of 20 to 25% higher on their standardized testing. It also allows teachers a lot more flexibility. They can record their classroom lectures and upload them to the site, and when the students get home at night and when they're doing their homework or they're doing their research, they can look back on those videos if there's something they forgot or they need some sort of refreshment. Also, teachers will be allowed to add content that perhaps they weren't able to address within the confines of the classroom lecture time. A survey conducted by PBS showed that 82% of K through 12 teachers in the United States believe that tablets enrich their classroom learning, and that 77% of those teachers also said that it increased their students' desire to learn. A survey by the Pew Institute and the American Life Project shows that 30% of tablet owners read more than people who do not own tablets. 24 books on average for tablet owners, only 15 books on average per year for non-tablet users. Another benefit of tablets is you're bringing children into technology and you're teaching them how to use technology as a way of life. And in the United States, the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics has estimated that computer and information system jobs is the fastest growing job rate in the economy. It will grow 18% between 2010 and 2020. As technology increases, it's clear to me that we need to have a more accurate and reliable way to teach our children. But some people have argued that young children are not mature enough or old enough to handle the technology that's out there. Well, let's be real. The average U.S. student is more than tech savvy. Did you know that 19% of children between the ages of 2 and 5 can use a smartphone app, where only 9% can tie their own shoes? 25% can open and navigate a web browser, but only 15% can swim on their own. One of the things that occurred to me when my daughter's school in 2013 transitioned from traditional textbooks to ebooks, I was very concerned. Part of it was aesthetic. I am in love with books and I think they're wonderful. Another part of it was my concern over her being able to keep up and be distracted. What I found was that she was presented with a wealth of knowledge and different forms and creative ways to learn, and she excelled in classes that she hadn't normally excelled in, like math and science. E-textbooks are creative, they're viable, they're necessary transition for schools to make for budgetary, educational, and also for health reasons. Let's contact our state representatives. Let's tell them that we want our teachers to have the ability to teach our students with all the possible tools out there. Let's make American schools the envy of the world, and let's make its student body the most prepared and the best informed student body on the planet. Thank you.